Welcome back to Forza Horizon 5. This is the FH5 Update 26, the Day of the Dead update. In today's video, I'm going to tell you everything you need to know about it, like the 8 brand new cars. We have 13 new achievements. We have a new drift camera, and we also have some big news for what's coming next month. Real quick though, before we get into that, we need to thank the sponsor of today's episode, me and the AR12 sticker store. Instead of telling you about the stickers, I'm just going to show you what some of you guys use them for. One guy put an S1 class sticker on a cement truck. You'll love to see it. This guy decided to flex on all of us by showing off his Ferrari. And a bunch of you guys picked up a whole bunch of stickers. If you want to be featured in a future video, check out the AR12 sticker store, linked in the description down below. There's free shipping worldwide. Go check it out, send some photos in, and I'll feature them in a future video. Let's jump into the brand new cars, though, and let's start it off with the festival playlist and the most requested car in Forza Horizon 5 history. This is the Nissan Tsuru. At least I think that's how you pronounce it. It's probably wrong, but that's what I'm going to call it. It is finally here. Ever since Forza Horizon 5 was officially announced as taking place in Mexico, this thing has been the most requested car in the game. And it is finally coming in this update. If you don't know anything about this car, though, here's a quick little rundown on it. It's one of Mexico's most popular cars, along with the OG Volkswagen Beetle. It's got a 1.6-liter 4-cylinder engine that puts out a whopping 104 horsepower. My only wish for this car, though, is that the developers actually leaned into the Nissan memes with this thing and allow us to swap in that Nissan Altima engine that can build 2,000 horsepower. We will find out next week. Subscribe, because I'm going to make a video on it as soon as this car comes out. The week after that, in the autumn season, for getting 20 points, you can unlock this thing. The 2023 Myers-Manx 2.0. The original Myers-Manx was using a Volkswagen Beetle chassis. People basically took a Volkswagen Beetle, removed all of the bodywork, and threw on this Myers-Manx bodywork to turn them into a dune buggy. And that's essentially what they've done with this one. However, this one is actually all electric. The Myers-Manx 2.0 has about 200 horsepower from those electric motors. It's got this really, interesting looking roof that I think actually looks kind of better than the original version. But in real life, it is really expensive, costing around 75,000 bucks. And for a dune buggy, that's a lot of money. Moving away from the Myers-Manx 2.0, though, and into the winter season, by getting 20 points, you can unlock this. The 2022 Ford Bronco Raptor. Yes, it is finally here. Ever since the Ford Bronco was announced in real life a couple of years ago, I was crossing fingers that it was going to come to Forza Horizon, and it is finally here. It's got 420 horsepower. It's got custom Fox suspension, 37-inch tires, massive skid plates, this super cool wide body stance, and it can do 0 to 60 in 5.6 seconds. It is one of the coolest off-roaders available right now. Again, I really hope the developers kind of lean into the customization for this thing. Being able to swap a V8 into the Bronco Raptor and kind of build a homemade Bronco Raptor R would be really, really cool. I hope they allow us to do that. Last but not least, the final car that you can unlock this month in the festival playlist is this, the 1951 Porsche 356 SL, by getting 20 points in the spring season. You probably remember this thing from Forza Horizon 4. This is actually the only car that's been copy-pasted from a previous Forza game. Let's put a pause in our new cars for a second. We'll come back to the other 4 in a second, but let's briefly talk about some of the new features coming to Forza Horizon 5, because there's some really cool stuff in here. For example, the Eliminator is getting some updates. Specifically, it's getting a second starter car that you can choose when you load into the game. Previously, it was only the Volkswagen Beetle, but after this update, you can also choose the Nissan Tsuru. I would assume the developers went in and did a whole bunch of testing to balance the Volkswagen Beetle and the Nissan, so they're going to be exactly the same performance-wise, so you won't have an advantage for picking one over the other, but I'm super hyped that we get a new Eliminator car. It's awesome. The Eliminator can always use some more updates. Speaking of game modes, I think the developers forgot about drifting. It's been a very long time since drifters have had an update for them in Forza Horizon 5. Well, I have good news. because we finally have one with this new update. And that is a brand new drift camera for third person mode. We've always had drift camera in first person where your character kind of like looks into the corner and stuff like that. But now there is that same thing, but for third person mode. The camera's totally customizable, so you can mess with like the sensitivity, the look speed, and the camera range, so you can build like your perfect drift camera. It's pretty cool. I hope the developers continue to add more things for drifters because there's a lot of them out there. On the topic of new things, we also have 15 new Event Lab props, a bunch of Day of the Dead stuff, and some other things that can spice up your Event Lab maps. Again, always awesome. We also have 13 new achievements coming to the game. Nothing here is actually that groundbreaking. Most of the things you've already done in the game. Most of them are like, take a picture of your character as they're standing outside the car and complete the donut media story and stuff like that. Nothing too groundbreaking there, but if you are a fan of getting achievements, this is the update for you. Last but not least, for new features, we also have a new world update, all themed around the Day of the Dead holiday. It should be pretty cool. I'm excited to go exploring around the map and see what's new. I mentioned, though, that there were 8 cars coming to Forza Horizon 5. I've already mentioned the 4 that are in the festival playlist. There are 4 more in a new DLC car pack. This is called the Super Speed car pack. It's coming out on October 10th. At the time of recording this video, the developers haven't announced a price. When they do, I'll leave that information in the comments section down below. Just to explain how this car pack works, it is not included in the car pass or in the ultimate edition of the game. The only way to get it is purchasing this car pack separately. But if you do, you'll get these cars added to your garage completely for free. You won't need to spend any credits on them, and you won't need to go out and unlock them. Let's talk about these 4 cars, though, because they are really, really cool. Let's start it off with this thing. The 2019 Elemental RP1. Right out of the gate, I'm not gonna lie, I've never heard of this thing. I've never even heard of this company before. So I actually did a little bit of research. They're from a small company out in the UK who builds road legal race cars. I'm not even joking. When you actually drive it, you are laying down like you would in like an LMP car or like a Formula 1 car. It's ridiculous. Nearly the entire car is made of carbon fiber, and the people who made it focused on 2 things: aero and lightness. I don't actually know which specific version is going to be in Forza Horizon 5 and where the developers actually got the information from for this car, because the weight of the car in real life has different reports. Some people say it weighs as little as 992 pounds, all the way up to 1,200 pounds. Regardless, it is super lightweight and it's gonna be insane to drive. It's got a little Ford EcoBoost engine. It's a little 2-liter engine, but that puts out 280 horsepower. 280 horsepower in a car that weighs around 1,000 pounds? Honestly scary. It's also got a sequential gearbox, which is just ridiculous. Not exactly a road car. It's a full-on race car, and I love it. On the topic of race cars, you might also like this, the 2020 KTM Crossbow GT2 car. Somebody will need to fact check me on this, but I'm pretty sure this is the only GT2 car that we have in Forza Horizon 5. This might actually be one of the fastest cars in FH5, depending on what upgrades we can actually do to it. This thing in real life has an Audi 2.5-liter engine that puts out 600 horsepower. It's all made of carbon fiber, and because of that, it's a little bit expensive. $300,000. And again, if you are a fan of race cars and just downright insane cars, this is the 2022 Porsche 718 GT4 RS. Yes, it is finally coming to the game, this little Porsche Boxster with a massive engine in it. It's got a 6-cylinder, 4-liter, 500 horsepower engine. This is gonna be insane to drive. This is a car that people have been requesting for a long time. I'm very excited to see it's finally coming to FH5. And last but not least for our new cars is this, the 2022 Volkswagen Golf R. This is the Mark 8 Volkswagen Golf, and it's nice to see Forza actually got the year right on this one. Fun fact, though, this car is actually already in Forza Motorsport. It's in the base game. You can drive it right now completely for free. So if you want a little shortcut, there you go. One more thing to talk about in this video, though. Next month, the developers have some big plans for it, and they said this: the biggest and most muscular cars from the American automotive history are coming to FH5. What cars those are, I do not know. But if you have any guesses, leave them in the comments down below. We'll come back to this next month and see who's right and wrong. And the developers will also be adding in 4 new races into the game. I'm very excited to see what those are. Hopefully they're good layouts. We will have to find out though next month. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. Go check out the AR12 sticker store. I'll see you guys next time. Bye.